Buongiorno. Io vorrei cominciare.
Good morning. I would like to start like I do in any contest I'm finding myself. Could be a conference, could be a school, a temple, in wherever contest I found myself. I always like to start with a short prayer because it's a moment in which I remember of my masters, my gurus, and the masters of my masters. If there is something that I can share with you, is because someone has taught it to me. So for me, the gratitude is something very important. So it's a moment mostly where I do these two short prayers. The first time is in Tibetan, the second in Sanskrit, in which I'm going to remember the masters of the masters of the masters, the gurus, and the gurus of my gurus.
Pegye drolora zambe zebra chen panden lame shabla solvade Homa guru vajradara sumati munisha sane Uta varda nishri badra varsa manya sarva siddhi hum hum Oma Guru Vajradara Sumati Munishasan Uta Varda Nishri Badra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Hum Oma Sumati Munishasane Karm Uta Varda Nishri Badra Varsa Manya Sarva Siddhi Hum Pakyuke Kudan Dagi Lu Pakyuke Sungdan Dagi Nga Pakyuke Tugdan Dagi Ye Tön Yerme Çiktu Çingi Lo Makyuke kudan dagi lu, makyuke sundan dagi nga, makyuke tugdan dagi yi, ten yerme çiktu çingi lo. Om muni muni maha muni shakya Munye Swaha. Okay.
Bene, good. That's right. First of all, I would like to share with you the joy that I feel to be here together. It's since a long time when we talk with Paola Muti, Doctoress Paola Muti, to be today together here brings me a lot of joy. One of the reasons of that feeling is originating from what I would like to share with you. I didn't prepare anything specific, and I don't have the intention to give a lecture about a particular subject, but I want to share some concepts, some experiences, and also for many things that we already know, but it's better to know, to remember them, to remark them. We human beings, according to me, we go also beyond that, but all the living beings, let's say, we try in any way, in any possible ways, within our capabilities, abilities, to survive, to avoid suffering, and to stay well. This is what we are searching constantly. And if we watch to our history, the human history, the first level becomes the necessity for survival, basic needs to find, search the necessary means to live and survive. And then later, when the survival needs are covered and we feel secure, so we start to go up in the levels. Like my little dogs, puppies, one is eating everything that she's eating, but then if she likes a specific, there is another, if she doesn't find her favorite food, she's not eating, because once the survival needs, the basic needs are satisfied, we want more. So we want to avoid that particular suffering, and we want that particular pleasure on the other side. But what we really want, really, it's a state of wellness, of well-being. So, and to avoid mental and physical suffering. And if we watch back to our human history, from the developing of the religions, of the arts, the science, the political system, and then economic systems, at the end of all these systems, what they have in common, the research of happiness and the avoiding of suffering. At the base, this is the matter, the main point. And why we do the research upon this or that, about this or that? Because we want to avoid suffering. Also, the political system, social systems are created for that. But sometimes I have the sensation, the feeling that we lose the objective, we lose the sight on the objective, and we are very attached to the means, to the tool. It's like if both of us, when we want to go in the same place, in that place, we have two different cars, so I go by bike, you go by car, and we start to discuss about which kind of road we should follow. So my bike is better than yours. We start to discuss, and we can spend hours discussing about these differences. And we are like in a place that we want to defend our vehicle instead of dedicate the energy to go on the path, on the way, and realizing that it's only a tool, the car or the bike. So one of the most important thing in my life is principle is do what you do normally without moralism. Do whatever you like. The important thing is that it's working for you. What does it mean it works for you? We intend that effectively it can bring a better state of well-being and less suffering and possibly more health. And so we enter in this other point, but one step behind yet. For me, sincerely speaking, I don't believe that this can sound very strange, weird, what I'm going to say. I don't think to be a religious person. And sincerely, I see that the religion, which is something that exists by itself, it does not have sense. It's like a tool that is very valid. This is what I feel and what I live. This doesn't mean that everybody should follow the same idea. But the important thing is to remember where we want to go and all the tools that we have in our hands to help ourselves to reach our aim. In certain traits, maybe we need the bike. In other, we will prefer the car, and then we can take a plane. It depends on our clarity on where we want to go. There is a saying of Buddha that said, once you have crossed the other side of the river, you should not be attached to the boat that carry you on the other shore. And we don't have to think, that boat is better than the other. This is not important. The important thing is that it works to cross the river from one shore to the other. So I don't think that there is one single way of going. So one single tool to reach to the aim, to our aim. So it's important for us to be open, that allows us to have a coherent approach, linear and sincere, where we are going to take everything that helps us, and we add all these tools that we have to realize what we want to do. Also, not only as individuals, but also as a human species. So, but generally speaking, the human beings want to survive, they want to avoid suffering, and they research pleasure and happiness. Now, a question very important that also yesterday Rohia remembers us, that often the questions are more important than the answer. This is something that is very, very important for me. The importance to put us questions, to question ourselves, and not thinking to be the holder of the stake of the truth, and say, oh, this also in the religious ambient, and we have 10 people with different 10 spiritual traditions, different representative of different religions. It's important that we understand that we have something in common. For me, it's very scary to be only with the people who think like us. We don't have to fear the different from us. When we have the choice, the opportunity to meet someone that thinks differently from us, or we reinforce our way of thinking, and we think, in fact, actually, I'm right, in fact, or I can say maybe I'm right in something, and in other things I'm not so right. This other point of view is also valid and to be taken in consideration. I believe that often we live to search for something on the base of suppositions in things that we, in fact, we don't have so much clear what we are thinking about. For instance, yesterday we talked about consciousness, where it is, what it is. My question is, what is the mind? What is the consciousness? Which are questions that we don't have a sure answer to those questions. But I want to start from another question today, which I like to ask you. What is the suffering? What is suffering? And from the other side, what is pleasure? What is happiness? Because they are two sides of the same coin. They are. What is suffering? We start from the physical suffering. Pain. Pain, because the physical suffering manifests in the physical pain, thirst, hunger, cold, heat, excess of heat and cold. This is the physical suffering. Is something important or something that we can avoid and eliminate completely? For me, it's fundamental. It's extremely important, the pain, to express the pain, because the pain is an alarm that is singing. If we didn't have this alarm, which is the pain, we were all died, prematurely died. I don't know these sicknesses that people don't feel pain. I saw one documentary one day that there are these children that they don't have pain, and generally they die in few days, in 8 days. There was a child who was completely burned. He put the end in the fire, and he was saying, oh, look at now, it's making smoke, my hand. And the other was broken, multiple fractures, because he jumped everywhere and he didn't feel any pain in the body. So pain is what it is. It's an alarm that is ringing, that is saying to us there is something that is not working. And here there is a theory of mine, it could be right or wrong, a theory, that our system, I mean us as living beings, our system, body and mind together, we have a constant, we are in a constant research to be in balance. Whatever we do wrong, our system is like recording it and it alerts us. So the sicknesses, for instance, in the Tibetan medicines that I could study a bit, it is described the sicknesses as the lack of balance in the body, and it manifests with the symptoms. The symptoms are the results of this imbalance that manifests itself with a feeling like a pain, some bad feeling. So it's an alarm that is ringing to say us there is something that is not working. And so already here we need to separate, differentiate the two in a clear way. I think that everybody of us knows, but I don't know these principles, but it's not, I don't know how much we remember them in our life. There is a complete difference between symptoms, sicknesses, causes of sicknesses. There are three different things. As everybody knows, if I don't eliminate the cause of the sickness, I cannot heal the sicknesses, and if I don't eliminate the sicknesses, the symptoms will continue to rise, to manifest. If I suppress the symptoms, they don't manifest in a way, but they manifest in another, maybe with more strength. If like someone is sounding the alarm, we hear the alarm and we want to just switch it off, and we don't want to hear what is the signal, the alert that is suggesting to us. One time I read something somewhere that they say that we have the two systems, the sympathetic system and the parasympathetic. In reality, the quantity of fruition that we do in an unconscious way, that are enormous. You doctor and physicians, that psychiatrists that are studying medicine, you know much better than me. We are not going to say to the liver what it needs to do, or to our lungs that they need to breathe, and so but we use all these abilities in a conscious way. What is automatic and what is chosen, which it's a very small part comparing to the automatic response of the body. So comparing to that, we don't have so much freedom to interact, to control all this process, just a tiny bit. So what's happened here is that we have this alarm that is ringing, then saying there is something wrong. There is a verse in Tibetan, so it said we need to know the sickness, its causes, we need to abandon them. The state of well-being and health must be reached, and the path to healing ourselves is need to be followed. So first of all, we need a correct diagnosis to know the sicknesses. The cause of the sicknesses must be abandoned. Often I see many doctors, my friends, and they say, "I'm very sorry for you." I said to them, because I imagine in front of a patient, when the doctor recognizes the sicknesses and say, if you continue like this, you will damage yourself, you destroy your health. And the patient says, yes, okay. And after 2 months, they say, I have the same problem. Your treatment is not working. I came from you already 10 times and I'm still sick. Did you took the medicines as I want, not exactly as you ask me to take them? The other point is, did you stop to do that? Have you changed your style of life? Did you stop the causes of the sicknesses? No. So what do you want from me? The doctor could say, because when we know the sickness and consequently we recognize the causes of that sicknesses, and we we continue to increase and nourish the causes, that state of sicknesses will become stronger and it will aggravate yourself. I believe that it's very important to find the cures for many kind of tumors, but I think that it's much more important to understand the causes and eliminate those causes. Otherwise, it's like saying, if we say, okay, to eat a lot of sugar is bad. Everybody knows. Yes, for me, it's more easy to find the causes of the cancer that stop to eat sugar. People cannot stop. When we have an headache, which is our habitual tendency, we say, I hear one alarm. What is wrong? Could be the liver, could be the cervical, something that I eat was not correct. Maybe I didn't sleep correctly. I ate something that was bad for me. I was very nervous for something was happening. We want to know the causes, or we just want to take the painkiller? Unfortunately, our tendency is to treat the symptoms, but it's not enough. The symptom needs to be cured. We are not cynics and say, I know you have to suffer, stay with your pain. We need to cure it, but the priority is to eliminate the causes of the sicknesses. That is more important than eliminate the sickness itself. Because if I treat the sicknesses but not its causes, the sicknesses will come back. The sickness, it will come back. So the sicknesses we need to know, and the causes we need to abandon it. The third point is more important. The state of well-being and perfect health, we need to strive to fight it. If I don't believe that this is possible, I will never put an effort to reach it. One of the fundamental points for a person to heal himself is to believe that he or she can be cured. She can heal, or he. I remember in Holland one time Rogier was doing something. He was presenting his PhD lecture, and he invited some doctors, some colleagues to discuss the thesis. And there was some person who were international renowned, so they did. He gave them the opportunity to speak to them, to give a lecture themselves. And one that I liked the most, he was talking about they took one, they did an experiment, they examined many people who has the same type of cancer that could heal themselves using completely different medicines and treatments. Some people use the different kind of treatments, traditional and non-traditional. And the question was, what could be in common in their process of healing, since they could cure themselves with both different methods, for the different methods? And the answer was, the only thing that they find in common within all the patients is that all those that were healed, they have the certainty that was the therapy, the right therapy for them. And this was the only thing that they find in common between all the examined patients. In the Buddhist traditions, we said if there is no desire and not aspiration, there is not effort. The effort is not coming. To create desire and aspiration, we have to have faith. Faith, we don't mean a blind faith, but believe in something. If I don't believe that I can reach my perfect health, I will not desire it, and I will never put an effort to reach, to attain it. And unfortunately, we live in a system, not only from the medical system, but also with our modern style of life, where we base our life mostly on on avoiding the pain and research the pleasure, instead of build our state of well-being and perfect health and health. I don't know if you agree with me in this point, this observation. For me, for instance, was very beautiful that about 3,000 years ago in China, about 3,000 years ago, the doctors, they already have a very specialized system, well organized, very advanced for many aspects. 3,000 years ago, there were the Chinese family doctor, and they take care of a certain number of people, patients, and then they were paid in according to their work. The people, the family who need to pay the doctor, when they were in health, they will pay the doctor. As soon as they become sick, they stop to pay the doctor. They stopped. So at the beginning of the spring, the doctor goes door to door and say, don't eat this, don't take cold, eat that. Start again the new season, the winter, we need to change the diet. We get the correct style of life in accordance with the season. So the doctor was taking really care of the health of the people, not eliminate the sickness. And this, according to me, it's a mistake in the world where we live, not only from the point of view of the doctor, but also from the attitude of the patients. We try, the state of not sickness is considered health. So we don't have necessarily the awareness to cure and maintain our health, but we just want to cure the sicknesses. So the third point, the healthy state must be reached. It means that, first of all, we must have a definition, appropriate definition of physical and mental health. We have to remember that, and this is the next point, just anticipate briefly, where everywhere there is interaction, inevitably there will be transformation. This is a law of the physics. It's impossible that will be an interaction without that will be a transformation. And also in the present moment, while we are talking, I'm transforming myself and you are transforming yourself. So the interaction, they are mutual. One influences the other and transforms the other. For instance, in the Buddhist tradition, this is a concept very present and very important. I read also a book of Carlo Rovelli, where a physician, physic is talking about the phasing, the motivation, why and what, and why it's impossible that something that interacts is impossible that is not influencing and transforming all the contents, the other factors that are involved. We are constantly in transformation because we are always changing. We are always interacting. Which are our means of interaction? Our five senses. So what I see, what I hear, what I smell, what I taste, what I touch, and the mind. And our words also, our speech. So everything which I come in contact, whatever I'm going to say, whatever I'm going to think, are elements of interactions and transformation, consequently. And this is a fundamental point. Wherever there is interaction, inevitably there will be transformation. So the well-being, the state of health, is a delicate state because it means that we need to keep always the right balance between all the elements. So it's impossible to imagine a state of physical health which is not mental health at the same time. So it's difficult to imagine a person which is in a good state, physical mental health, in a sick environment, because we interact with the environment. So inevitably the interaction will bring transformation, and the interaction has its own weight. So if I'm in a insane insane environment, which is not does not mean that it's intrinsically negative, but means that for my being as I am, that kind of environment is not healthy for me, simply. So when we talk about malsane environment with all the pollution, and it's not a matter of oh, poor nature. The point is that even ourselves, we are not able to keep our balance inside this environment when it's sick, when it's unhealthy. So there is important that there is a balance between physical health, mental health, and we'll talk about this. We will talk later. It is another fundamental point, and should be an environmental health and an healthy style of life, and also human interactions, healthy human interactions. Someone could say this is impossible, and then we have to say what is the importance and the function of utopy. One time I was listening to a webinar. A person it was a poet at university, was an Argentinian poet. He said, what is the function of utopy? The utopy is an horizon. The more you go towards the horizon will be far more distant. So what we have to do is what we can say utopia is something that helps us to walk through a direction. It's not useful to say, no, we'll never reach there, so it's better that I stay still. It's important to walk towards the health, to physical health, to mental health, mental and emotional health, to health, human interaction, healthy, and then also could eat well, all the putting enact all the interactions, eat well, sleep well, and so forth. And so it's not true that people say, if you do that, it's not enough. No, it's not true. Whatever thing we do, it's important, but the difficulty is to find the balance between all the different elements which should interact correctly. So the state of health must be desired. And to desire something, we should be able to imagine it. So the clear thing could be to describe in details what we mean for an healthy body, an healthy mind, an healthy style of life, what we mean to have healthy human relationships. Once we have the clarity about this point, then we can desire it, or those aims. Because we have to say the truth. Everybody puts his intention, his energy in what we like and not in what we don't like. And we do what we like, mainly. So we have to help ourselves to desire the right things that brings our well-being. And so to put the effort in something, I have to desire it. And to desire it, I have to believe it. And then I have to be able to imagine it, to know its characteristics and peculiarities. And I have also to convince myself to believe in that. So, for instance, the vision of mind, more widespread spread is the scientific vision paradigm, vision of the world or paradigm. So we should find a point of union where we agree in what we mean for the good health, for example. And we have to remember that there is a difference to reach a state of health and to eliminate the sicknesses. So there is also an enormous difference to stop a war and to create a peace, not only between different countries, but we think inside of a family, for instance. One side is one thing is to stop fighting, and another thing is to be a family and live in harmony inside the family. So the state of harmony, and if we don't fight continuously like before, it means that our relation is not too bad, not too sick. But we have to build our peace. Other 2 points to conclude. The first point, which I believe more and more in it, is something that the more I go on and reflect and observe, and more I convince myself that it's something. It's not something, it's my conclusion. Could be right, could be wrong. I'm always more convinced that the body and the mind, they are not other than two manifestations of the same. So it's impossible that something that is happening in the body that is not manifesting in the mind, and then it's something happening in the mind that is not manifesting in the body. For instance, the chemical changes inside our body, as they have an effect on our mental and physical system, yes, body. So, and on the liver. So, how much is important, for instance, an organ like the liver for our mind. A friend who was very depressed and did everything, finally came out, he has a problem at his liver. He resolved his problem, healed his liver, and then he resolved his depression. So the mind is connected with any part of the body, and any part of the body is connected to the mind. In the Buddhism, you say body, speech, and mind, subtle, gross, subtle, and very, very subtle. We don't go in detail in that, but the important thing is there are two manifestations of the same thing. They are not separate. So everything that happens in the body inevitably has a correspondence in the mind, and everything that happens in the mind has a correspondence in the body, a reaction in the body. So this is something that there are points that are fundamental. So which are the points that we established from the beginning? Everybody of us, each one of us want to be happy and doesn't want to suffer. This is the main objective. And then wherever there is interaction, inevitably there will be a transformation. That body and mind are inseparable one from the other. But how this is setting according with the vision of reincarnation in Buddhism? The fact that the very subtle mind together with the very subtle body continues after lives. What is described in the Buddhism, what is continuing after death, is described as an energy. This energy extremely light and subtle that continues after the death into the new life. This is the concept of reincarnation. So for that, what I do with my thoughts has an effect on my body or not? For instance, yesterday here explained that the brain is consuming a lot of energy. So the simple fact to create a worry, for sure you consume, and your energy, your brain energy, your mental energy. And then the other point that we said before is that is fundamental, that the suffering is an alarm that is ringing. So the importance to listen to that. So in the same way, like the physical pain is an alarm that sounds, so the mental pain also, it's an alarm for us. Yes. Because when this alarm is sounding, is ringing, it doesn't mean that we are doing something wrong. So we know that our modern style of life is extremely unhealthy, and we know it, and then we are living constantly in the consequences of that, and we have this alarm that is sounding all the time. It's ringing all the time. So we have some basic things that are fundamental, that there will never be a problem in the past, and today it's a problem. They are a problem. For instance, I don't remember my grandfathers that were talking about insomnia. Nowadays we have teenagers that cannot sleep well. Or maybe I'm wrong. And today it's more and more. So we are anxious during the day. We are hyper-stimulated, and in the night we cannot sleep, and our system, they're going completely out of balance. So I don't want to understand what I want to put in sync. My system will go perfectly in sync if I stop to do the wrong things this is my belief. Our system naturally is researching this state of balance if we stop to do stupid things. So the style of life is fundamental, crucial, and inside that, all this that we have said just now, I resume, it was to introduce one specific point that we will be not make long, but it's something fundamental that yesterday Ruhir called it in his lecture, the spiritual medicine or healing, we can call in different ways. The fact is that we can do many things, and that in their interaction help us to find this balanced state, which is not absolutely in any moment, in any way, in opposition with the medical treatments or the conventional medicines. It's simply the fact that if I'm following a medical treatment, prescription, so I need to take a certain medicine and follow a specific diet, I ask myself, okay, doctor, I take the medicine that you told me, I follow your diet that you suggest me, but whatever I do, what can I do more on top of that? No, I don't think there is anything more. So the other interaction, they don't bring transformations? Obviously, yes. So it's something that I say the body and mind are two manifestations of the same, and they are the most potent tool, strong tool that we have is the power of the mind, of our mind, which has the incredible quality that follows the direction that you give. There was a master of the past that said, the mind is full of defect, but it has its own a big quality, which is whatever you teach, it follows. She will follow. So all this spiritual practice, so-called, tomorrow maybe we can go more in details. I would like to do some exercise together on that. The point is that we have some interaction between our thoughts, our body, so with the mind and the environment that surround us. Some of that, they help us for our well-being, to feel well, and other not. So we have to cultivate what is of benefit for us and avoid what is of damage. So we have to take the better of what we can find in our interactions. So the meditation exists since millennium, with thousands of years, and everybody was known as a beneficial tool for our mind. Nowadays is very popular, became popular. So there are many benefits that we can achieve through praying, to have this important feeling to trust, to surrender ourselves. In the Buddhist tradition, for instance, one of the first passage of the path, Buddhist path, the first one is called the door of entrance into the path. That is, fall in love with the inner peace and to have an objective that transcends our daily life. and to see the state of harmony like the most important thing that I want to reach in my life. So having this taken this direction that reassume in a vision of words, in a vision of the world, and also all the exercises that we implement to reach that way of that style of life, all this will help us to reach more and more, to go forward in the path to our aim. If our objective is to accompany us and the others and ourselves to the state of well-being, it's important for us to know as much as possible all the tools that we can have, we can use to reach that. Starting from the principle that each interaction brings transformation, and we have to try all of them. So the research is fundamental because this helps us to understand, because we need to understand. Me personally, I'm a person which is quite skeptical. I believe in something on the basis of two conditions, or because I understand it very well. In my logical reasoning, everything is linear and coherent, or because I have a direct experience of that. I don't understand, but I have a direct experience. For instance, I pick up the phone and speak with another person to the other part of the world. I have a direct experience that through this strange object I can listen to the person in another part of the world. Some of you knows how this works. Me, not. Myself, not. But I believe because I have my direct experience, not because I know its functions. And then there are the things that I don't understand and I have a partial experience. So what I do with those, I put them in the waiting list. Could be right, could be wrong. They are there and they're objects of research, personal research. So when we have this object of research, one of the important things, it's a state of neutrality in front of the object and not a state of preconcept in front of it. Or am I wrong? Because for me, when we start to do research, it's fundamental to start with the presupposition that I don't know what will be the result of the scientific research. Also because if I start with a preconcept or with an objective to reach, naturally I will push my research in that direction with awareness or not awareness of the fact. The more I'm open to receive, and to receive what I'm not waiting for, what I'm not can suppose it even. And it's so important to be open, and also to understand that we thought that we understood the thing, but in fact, finally, there are things that we can know and we have direct experience, and the other which are partial understood and could be right or wrong, and we put in the waiting list. So we should have these three approaches. In the tradition, Buddhist tradition, I only can think of my speak about my tradition. From the others, I have very limited knowledge. The most important things which is emphasized is the experience. There is the part of philosophy extremely wide, and everything should and must be contested and discussed and debate every concept. But this is the philosophy side, and in thousands of years we understood that certain sounds helps in something. Sounds is vibration, vibration is energy. Certain kind of thoughts help the person, other they are disturbing. So some people can cultivate the positive thoughts, but the process is more based on this in experience and not necessarily in the logic explanations. But there is also this trust in the experience, the interaction with places. For instance, there is a concept that every one of us has sort of energetic field, and then when we interact with another object, our energy is going to interact with the other object and vice versa. So if we are in a specific place and we do a specific activity in that place, we transform the place, the environment, and the setting that are used for that particular activities. They take the characteristic of that. So they absorb this kind of energy which is transmitted there. So the holy places have some characteristic in the natural environment, the pure immersional environment, and also the energy of all the people who passed there, what they did in that place, what the energy they left and then transform. So also the place, the holy place can become a place that can transform the energy of the people who goes there and interact with the place. So I'm convinced that there is the difference to do a lesson, a lecture in a university where people you teach for where people taught there for many years, and there was a lot of experience, instead of doing it in another place that is neutral from that point of view. So there is something that stays, that rests, is maintained in the place. So this comes the importance to go in the holy places, the importance to be in the natural places. There are many possible interactions that comes together to help. So this center, this place, as the main objective, what Lama Ganchen create this place, this center, Dharma center, he called him Albagnano, which is the place where we are, Healing Meditation Center, center of healing and meditation. And one of the person who was there present in that point, when Rinpoche chose the name, he said, Rinpoche, why won't we change, instead of calling Healing Meditation Center, why we don't call it Meditation Healing Center? Then the Magancha says, no, before the healing and then the meditation. Why? Because we need, first of all, to have a minimum state of balance in the body, in the mind, in the environment. And the point is then we need to heal. The healing is not intended as something of magic that is going to substitute the medicine, because sometimes we have this idea, there is the healer that say, you don't go to the doctor, it can be dangerous for you, I do different. I go to the healer, that healer say, I will do something for you and I will set you up in health. The concept is instead that gradually we need to rebuild, to build a place that can help us with these interactions, what happens there, in the way that is happening in that particular place, that can help us to face our own shadow, our own mental poisons, and to find a state of health and happiness and well-being, using the tools that we have in our toolbox, for instance, mainly the mind, the tools of the mind, and the different style of life. So this we are going to share this one. Some of you this morning did the self-healing practices. The self-healing practice is something extremely logical. If someone is going deeper in the subject, it has a clear logic behind. Even if the first approach seems like something mystic, but what I'm doing, these strange movements, these sounds that I don't understand, and strange images and symbols. But the basic principles, now without going in details, is one of the most important principles, that is the one to recognize our own potentiality, to understand who I want to be, identify myself in my qualities that in our own qualities that we have. So awareness, satisfaction, love, compassion, joy, patience, generosity, humility, power of realization, courage, and to free ourselves and don't identify ourselves with ignorance, unsatisfaction, anger, revenge, fear, instability, uncertainty, and so forth. Only doing this, it's a lot. The simple fact to, we say that one of the most powerful instruments that we have, the most strong tools that we have is our imagination, power of imagination. Imagine something that has been created from the technological things, from the most advanced technology and also the scientific researches, from where they originate. From the capacity of imagination. Someone needs to imagine it. And once that we could imagine it, gradually we are going to build up and to reach to the aim. It's not for nothing that certain technology starts from the scientific stories, literature. Someone could imagine it and then we were able to create it. So all these researchers then they sum up during the time. So the most important thing is that we have to believe in what we imagine. That is a better version, the best version of ourselves. And this is the basis of self-healing. We can do also, we can show an example also downstairs, and particularly we focus on the colors. What those colors represents, the qualities that we need to increase and develop, and in the same time what we need to avoid and reject. And this we do with a vision of world, the world vision and the paradigm, so rules of conduct and style of life, complemented with the exercises, with meditation, reciting the mantras, yoga, or whichever other exercises we can implement and add. So we have to start from the presupposition that we are made by habits. How can we change an habit and create a new habit? What did you say? What would you say? Shantideva, this Buddhist master living 1,500 years ago, there is nothing that is easy once that you get used to it. So the most difficult part is to create the habit. That means to act in an artificial way because it's not coming spontaneously, and gradually you can reach there. But to do this passage, you need a lot of effort. And to have effort, to put effort, you need to have desire. And to have desire, you have to have faith. And for one of our main tasks, and especially for you, doctors and physicians and psychiatry, is to do the advertising campaign to make the people believe that it's possible to be well, and how it's possible to reach there, what we have to do to reach there. And also it's fundamental to develop this trust. So it's excellent to study the sicknesses, see how they works and their consequences and the means to heal them. But this is very important. But I repeat once again, one of the most things that we believe in Buddhism that is fundamental is to understand, observe, and believe in our aim, what we would like to become. So what is for us an healthy body, an healthy body, mind, and environment, and human relations, healthy human relationships. And it's not possible to live in a state of well-being if we don't do our steps, our effort. We don't have other choice than that. So this is almost all what I want to bring to you today. And the reason also which I'm very happy today, because I believe that every instrument and tools that we can find and means are useful, and we have to put all together, find all the knowledge and the therapies that we have to integrate together. As Lama Ganchen often says to the people went to him, they say, Rinpoche, I want to go there in that religion or tradition or special place. And Rinpoche always answer, yes, yes, you go, you go. What is of benefit for you, you take it back with you, and the rest you live there. Leave it there. So in the same way, I will invite you, what you see that is benefit for you, take it and use it, and what is not beneficial you leave, but what you're not sure you put in your waiting list in a very open way. Also because our intention, I speak from the point of view of the center and from the Buddhist point of view in general. Lama Ganchen was remember us, for us, our objective is to be a service. We don't want to transform the world in a Buddhist world. I don't think will be the solution. I think that the solution will be to live in a world where there will be more awareness, love, respect, harmony, but with different means. The most important thing is not important to say if we are Buddhist or not, but that we are coherent with our principle, and it is a constant process of learning, of developing ourselves. I don't think that we have the pretension, the intention to reach immediately to the aim. I try for myself. I don't want to have this expectation for myself, but I like to have the coherence, to the constancy to continue to apply my principle in accord with my knowledge and experience to my reality, that it was everybody can do. Also, then today we are also together, and also tomorrow. Tomorrow maybe we'll do a short meditation. We will find the time to do to teach and transmit some simple meditation. Maybe also we can have a third session. We will see. But I wanted to do this first introduction, which is our first approach to come together, to know each other. So these are the main principles, and on this base we are going to continue in the next sessions with the experience of self-healing meditation. Thank you.